Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode would be checking out a piece by the career digital illustrator known as Artem Chebokha. This episode would be talking about texture, we're going to talk about visual energy, and we're also going to talk about the transformative element of fire, so let's jump right into it. So whenever I first see this, we're going to leave out with the lone subject, what appears to be a phoenix set in center here. Appears to be running across the composition, and your first impression is likely one of awe due to such an ascendant sight before us here. And so we see our subject's placement in center certainly makes them impossible to miss, right? We also see this effect aided by this brilliant light and dark contrast. Of course, that darker background allows the form to really pop out to the highest degree possible. And so in the realm of color, we see this really a monochromatic color scheme. We could see kind of various elements of orange or various elements of kind of yellow or red, whatever y'all want to go for there. But there's no doubt that the use of a kind of similar color set, whether it's orange, red, or yellow, truly focuses the impact of form here. There's not too much that's going to draw your eye except for the incredible impact of these kind of possessed elements of color here. And so in the realm of texture, I absolutely love the texture within the work at hand, which you'll see here, visible brush strokes, especially around this region. This just invigorates the composition with an incredible amount of energy. The impact is just unforgettable. You see all these different curves. You see the curves in the wings, kind of a slight curve. You see the curve, the kind of roiling smoke of those brush strokes that go off. Even some slight curves in the branches as well. All in all, those are all adding a amount of visual energy to the composition. So whenever you look at this and the heart might race, that is exactly why. All these curves, this brilliant color, this brilliant use of light as well, they're all really converging to create the composition before us here. Incredible amount of energy within the work before us. And so there's no doubt that we have fire or the flame as a central element of the work at hand, right? And the flame is really sacred in a lot of different ways. There's so many different ways you could point to that. We'll go a bit deeper that here in a second, but I want y'all to think about, of course, Mother Nature. Mother Nature is the greenery, and oftentimes people place fire position against nature, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Fire does have its benefits. It kind of can burn that top brush to allow sunlight to the lower levels of plants. It can also kind of introduce a lot of nutrients into the soil as well. So there are a lot of different important things that fire can be used for in the context of nature itself. However, as kind of humans came around, fire became a way to symbolize different things, right? And one of those is going to be the idea of illumination. That's probably the most obvious, right? We took fire, and when we could have the torch, we could extend the day into the night. And then, of course, due to the nature of illumination, it's also became a way to kind of abstract the idea of knowledge and ignorance. If you don't know something, you can kind of be in the dark, so to speak. But whenever you do find something, you are enlightened, so to speak. You uncover it, you put it into the sun, and kind of bring it into that as well. So fire has become a way to kind of illuminate and describe that as a symbol as well. So another use of fire, perhaps the most obvious, is going to be the phoenix. So for example, our subject appears to be the phoenix, and then I also have another one to bring in real quick. We're going to see what we can learn here. Alright, so I brought another phoenix in here. It's actually coming from the digital artist HXAI, an AI generative artist. But what I want y'all to look at here, of course, is the firebird. This is an ancient symbol. The idea of the phoenix or the transformation of that firebird. So we see that within the work at hand. Certainly we have these kind of flares that kind of accent our subject's form. We also see this here, right? The phoenix, of course, fire itself is used to transform in so many different ways. Whether you are burning something or whether you're kind of uncovering a much more abstract sense, kind of learning knowledge, there's always that transformation present. So the phoenix has become a way to kind of abstract transformation in so many different ways, right? Incredibly important when we're looking at this work. We're going to bring a bit of references in real quick and see what we can learn here. Alright, so what I brought in here is actually some artistic examples of the flaming sword, right? For example, on the bottom, I believe we have Eve being banished. We have the flaming sword in hand, right? We talked about the element of transformation that comes with fire. So whenever you think about the sword is already something that can cut away. So there is a transformation already there. But when you take the sword, of course, something that can cut away, and then add a flame to it, it becomes even more transformative, right? Not only are you cutting away, but you're cutting away and burning as well. We see a much better example, at least in my opinion, of the burning sword there. The angel is just holding it, kind of has that in hand. Incredibly important when we're looking at this work. If you ever see the flaming symbol, you can know that that is the most literal symbol of transformation that we can bring. So a flame, of course, already transformative, but the sword that cuts as well. Incredibly, incredibly important, and a very ancient and archaic symbol as well. Alright, so there's some really interesting symbols, and the work before us here was actually created as a digital illustration, so it was kind of painted on a screen, very painstaking process within that. But the digital illustration is an incredibly popular medium, perhaps the most popular in digital art today. Everyone from fan artists to, professional artists such as RHADS here does some amazing work in the digital illustration medium. So really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about so many different things. We talked about, energy, texture, we talked about even color schemes, the transformative nature of fire, multiple symbols from the phoenix, kind of enlightenment, all the way to the flaming sword. So many different things we hit on today. I really hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, go check out the original artist, Artem Chebokha, also known as RHADS, always doing some amazing stuff in multiple mediums, especially digital illustrations. So hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all did. If y'all did, go check out the original artist. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.